On a freezing winter night, as snow drifted down in silent sheets over the city, 22-year-old Emily sat shivering at the bus stop, hugging her thin arms around her as the cold sliced through the tattered dress she had worn for 3 days straight, her bare feet turning numb against the icy concrete, her eyes dull from hunger, exhaustion, and the heavy weight of a life that had pushed her farther than she ever imagined she could fall, and as she stared blankly at the lonely road stretching ahead, she wondered when exactly she had stopped believing that tomorrow could ever be different, until suddenly, a small pair of boots stopped in front of her, and a tiny girl no older than 4, bundled in a red winter coat and a gray pom-pom hat, held out a little brown paper bag with both hands, looking up at Emily with eyes full of a softness so pure it pierced straight through the fog of despair that seemed glued to her soul, and the little girl whispered, her voice trembling with innocence, "You look cold." "Mommy says sharing is magic," but before Emily could respond, the child stepped even closer and said the words that would change everything, "You need a home, Anne." "I need a mommy," and Emily's breath caught, because she had never heard such a simple sentence carry so much hope, and her heart, bruised and battered from years of running from a painful past, cracked open in a way she didn't know was still possible, and as she stared at the girl, tiny, brave, kind, she suddenly noticed a man watching from the distance, standing in the snow with a protective but uncertain expression. And as the little girl tugged Emily's hand, she softly explained, "That's my uncle. He's taking care of me until we find someone who wants to love me forever." And Emily, who had spent months hiding from people, hiding from shelters, hiding from herself, felt herself trembling not just from the cold but from the overwhelming realization that she was being offered something she had never been offered before: trust, care, humanity, a chance. And when the man finally approached, he didn't look judgmental or suspicious. Instead, he spoke gently, his voice warm and steady. "I'm sorry if she startled you. She's been asking every day if she can help someone who feels alone." And Emily swallowed hard, unsure whether she wanted to cry or run, but the little girl squeezed her fingers and said, "Come home with us, please." And for the first time in months, Emily allowed herself to meet someone's gaze fully, and the men saw the truth, the fear layered over exhaustion layered over a deep desire to stop fighting life alone. And so he knelt to eye level with her and offered his coat without hesitation, draping it around her trembling shoulders as though she were someone precious, someone worth saving. And as the warmth wrapped around her, Emily felt herself break in the gentlest way possible, because kindness from strangers is the kind that hits the deepest, and she whispered, almost afraid of her own voice, "Why would you help me?" And the man answered, quietly but firmly, "Because once, someone helped me when I had nothing, and now I help others because I survived." And the little girl added quickly, "And I choose you." And that simple sentence carried the power of storms calming, of broken hearts remembering how to hope, and Emily felt tears spill down her cheeks, hot against the freezing air, and the man held out his hand without pressure or expectation, only sincerity, saying, "Let us take you somewhere warm. You don't have to decide anything tonight, just let us help you." And Emily, who had fought so hard for so long, suddenly felt the crushing weight of survival loosen its grip on her chest, and she let herself accept the hand offered to her, let herself be guided toward the warmth of a running car, the promise of hot soup, clean clothes, a soft bed, and a little girl who kept smiling up at her with the unshakable belief that this lonely young woman could be someone important to her, someone safe, someone loved. And as they drove away, the snow falling around the car like a quiet blessing, Emily looked at the sleeping child beside her and felt something awaken inside her, something she thought she had lost forever. A feeling that maybe she wasn't born just to suffer, maybe she wasn't meant to vanish into the cold world unnoticed, maybe she could still be chosen, needed, cherished, maybe she could even rebuild. And with the hum of the heater filling the car, she whispered to herself, maybe this is the beginning. And as the city lights blurred past the window, she didn't know where this unexpected journey would lead. But she knew one thing for certain: this tiny girl, with her enormous heart, had saved her life before Emily even had the words to thank her. And as the men driving glanced at the rearview mirror with a soft smile, seeing hope slowly return to the young woman's eyes, he said, "Sometimes families are found in the most unexpected places." And Emily held the child's small hand, realizing that for the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. And if you, watching this story right now, believe in kindness, second chances, and miracles that arrive disguised as little children with big hearts, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, because your support helps us continue creating powerful stories that touch hearts, change perspectives, and remind the world that hope is never far away, even on the coldest nights.